Gianni's got the stories from the coast to countryside. Jeannie's got the questions sharp as Sinatra's sway. Every Wednesday night we take you all the way. From the back streets of Tinseltown to the Trattoria's glow. Old Hollywood meets Mafia tales, and you're about to know it's the Hollywood Godfather, where the big band plays and the stories don't stop. With Gianni and Jeannie everywhere, they're taking you to the top. Keep it smooth and keep it classy. Feel that swing non-stop on the Hollywood Godfather.
Welcome, everybody. It's time for another Hollywood Godfather podcast. And tonight, we have our tech genius on at your request. We got a lot of letters. You wanted to talk to Mike Austin. Before I introduce him, Jeannie Raymond, our co-host, and with our tech guy, Mike Austin. Thank God for this guy. I call him 10 times a day.
That's awesome. Hi, Mike. Thanks for being on with us again. I love it. I tell my friends, I'm like, you guys got to listen because he can tell us things and keep us safe, but he's going to scare the crap out of you at the same time. So anyway.
Well, you know, that's never my intention. I'm just here.
No, I know. No, I love your knowledge.
Everyone's well versed because it's a scary world out there.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, we gotta, do our best to protect, our own best interests and not be, there's a lot of things that we got to worry about, but to go through your day by day, you don't need to be looking over your shoulder every 2 seconds. So.
Well, I don't have to because I just call you.
Yeah, I'm
not giving your number out. Believe me.
Please don't. I don't have that kind of free time.
No. Well, the one thing is, I'll tell our audience, we were just working on something, and one of the best things ever is I can let you take over my computer and fix things for me. I trust you, but I know a lot of scams come on where people are saying, okay, they're going to send you something and let them take control of your computer. And of course, I wouldn't dare do that with anyone but you. But it's so handy. I'm like, here you go. I said to Mike, yeah, he's going to fix the volume on something. I'm like, fix my life while you're in there, but it's amazing what you can do. And that is such a gift because, I remember trying to get, my mother's 90. She's got a new phone, and there hasn't been a conversation I've had with her in the last year that I hate this new phone, can't figure it out, So we're so lucky to have you, and thanks for coming on.
Well, one thing I just realized is you can actually screen share your phone over FaceTime. So if you have iPhones, they can share their screen and you can walk them through how to, go through different settings and how to change different stuff. Built onto the iPhone, you could do screen sharing. I never even knew that was there. It's under the more setting, and it's super handy.
Oh, I'll say. So speaking of that, let me just tell you, I've told Gianni, and I may have already told you, but my son last month had, he called all of us during the middle of the day. We've got a little group name. My group name for all my kids is called My Brats. So all of a sudden, My Brats was calling, and it connects all of us, my son in Nashville and all of us here. And he was like, oh, what's everybody doing? And we were chatting, and he said, oh, I want to show you that new chicken coop I just made. And so he's like, oh, I'm just going to share my screen and show you the picture. So he did, and I could see I was like, dude, that's not a chicken coop. I don't know what you did. It's some little writing of some sort. And he was like, oh, it is? What does it say? And what it said was, you've got a baby coming in December. And we were just like, it was so fun, but that's exactly what it was. So he could see our reactions, and we could see he was sharing that. And I thought, wow, isn't technology amazing that they could share something like that with all of us at the same time? But
that's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, we found out a week later it's twins.
Oh, wow.
I know we're so excited, but it is technology is amazing as it is, to be able to see stuff like that. All the scams and stuff. You get stuff from your doctor's office. You're like, can I click on this? Can I not click on this? The latest one I just saw was Venmo. And I'm sitting here with a friend last night, and he got a text message that said, "Hi, I'm Joe Don." I don't know who he was. I just accidentally put $50 into your Venmo account. Will you send it back to me?
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of that one?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Venmo had said, contact us, we'll take care of getting it back. But I've had two people now send money and they're like, oh, I sent it to the wrong one. And I've been able to cancel it, but I don't know why that guy couldn't just cancel it. But I said,
Depending
no.
on the service, if they haven't received it yet or they haven't accepted it yet, there's a window that they're starting to allow you to cancel it. But typically, if you send something, it's gone. You've already paid that person, and you have to write that off. I've had that happen in the past where I accidentally send someone to someone and like, oh, that's not my user ID. Can you send that back to me? And obviously, if it's someone I know, it's like, okay, sure. But if it's just some random person, it's like,
thank you.
That's your mistake. That's my money now. Have a good day.
Yeah.
They could always claim fraud on their end, and then they'll get their money back regardless, and then they'll also get your money on top of that. So it's a double-edged scam.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does that? I couldn't figure out how that one worked. They send you the $50, and then as far as that goes, he's going, well, there's $50 in my account.
That's the thing. You don't actually get the money into your account. They send you a screenshot saying they've sent it to you, but the money never gets transferred to you. So you end up sending them $50, but unless you're not privy enough to go and look at your account and see if you actually received the money, then it's like, okay, if it was an honest mistake, if this was 20, 30 years ago and everyone is an honest,
right,
then it's like, sure, no problem. But nowadays, no, that's your mistake. Have a nice day. I owe
right. Yeah, there are a lot of dirt bags out there, but he did. It was in his account, and then you feel bad because it might have just been an honest mistake, and you're scared to death to do the right thing, which would be give it back. So there's so many crazy little scams out there. You just don't do anything.
Like you said, just if you verify it and you look at your account transactions and you do see something that was given to you that you didn't expect, use your best judgment. If you want to give it back, sure, who cares? $50, $50. But if they're trying to ask for 500, I can kick rocks.
Yeah. Well, I know. I'm like, do you really want to have bad karma for ripping somebody off for $50? Make it worth your while if you're going to be a jerk.
But there's people doing it in multiples. It's not just $50.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Well, it's amazing. The scams have been around forever about the people like, oh, some friend bought a piano off of a Facebook thing and then did we put too much money in your account crap. Mm-hmm. She ended up giving them so much money and then no piano, no nothing. They just ripped her off. And I was like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah.
Because these things aren't new. There's a new scam every day.
Well, it goes back to the snake oil salesman from the 1980s, 1800s, stuff like that. There's always going to be someone trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes.
Oh yeah.
And you just have to use your best judgment and common sense.
Right. I just call Mike.
or just call me and I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm not giving your number out. Forget that.
No, I'm serious.
My customers do this all the time. I get so many emails like, "Is this legit?" Like today, I got one from one of my other celebrity clients, and they're like, "Is this real?" I'm like, "No, it's not. Look at the email."
Oh.
Hello.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm not going to entertain this.
Yeah. Well, now it's like, like you told us about unsubscribe. You said, don't unsubscribe. And I'm like, well, how do you get rid of it? You got so much BS coming
Only
through.
Unsubscribe to stuff that you've subscribed to.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I think I've mentioned this before in one of our original shows, creating an alias when you do sign up for something. That way, if your information gets leaked, who leaked it. So if you sign up for Walmart, create an alias for Walmart at your email address. And then you'll know if it ever gets leaked, and you start
Who
getting
did
spam
it?
messages, you know who leaked it. And then you can actually because you had that proof, you can go and get compensation.
Oh, I didn't know that part, but I have thought of that several times. I thought that was such great advice because, everyone says we don't sell your information, but every once in a while something will come through and you'll start getting all this spam, different messages and crazy stuff. And I'm like, what the hell did I sign up for?
Well, everything's been hacked at this point. So Google's
Oh,
been hacked, AT&T's been hacked, all of our information's out there. The Social Security Administration's been hacked. Literally all our information is out in the dark web. So there are services online, like there's one new one called Cloaked that will allow you to take your information offline, and it'll actually erase your information from the dark web. So and
Wow.
you pay a monthly service, and they basically clean you out. And once you get removed from that, you stop getting spam calls, you stop getting the spam emails. It basically removes
wow.
you from the internet. But it also includes scrubbing all your profiles and making sure all of your Facebook, your Instagram, all that's set to private, because it's very important that you want to have like a blank identity online.
Wow. So what's it called? Gloat?
Cloaked.
You spell it.
CLOAKED.
Cloaked. Okay. That I wasn't sure what you were saying, and I wanted to look into that. No, that's amazing.
I also have a client that does that, but I don't know if she'd want me to share her information on here. But there's a lot of services out there that do the same thing, and they'll go ahead and remove your information. She focuses more on removing negative reviews and stuff, but
Oh,
Cloaked is more for getting your information off the dark web and kind of restoring your life. Right now, I've got like 3 different services on my cell phone through AT&T and other services that basically help me, help me filter all the spam calls, because my phone constantly is going off with just BS. So
yeah.
I just let the phone handle that, and then every time someone calls me, it asks them, do you know who you're calling and why are you calling? And then I get to see on my screen like this is who it is before I even engage in the call.
Bother to open it up.
That's
Yeah.
with the new operating system. So make sure to keep your phone updated.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing that you mentioned it. Now I have messages that come in and they go to a different folder completely, or a different screen, that are the ones
Unknown.
you don't know, unknown senders.
Yeah.
I go through, those are easier to get rid of.
Yep. And
Well,
also time sensitive notifications, so those don't flood your inbox. And then you actually have a setting now, it'll auto delete your time sensitive notifications. So when I order from DoorDash, I don't have just tons of different text messages that I have to manually delete. The system is now smart enough to get rid of those after a day.
oh, wow. On
Yeah.
your cell phone?
Cell phone and computer.
Wow.
Yep. And I'm on a Macintosh ecosystem, so iPhone and OS X. So everything talks to each other, and everything is making sure that I'm as clean as possible. Plus, I have all the extra stuff that prevents malware and all that other good stuff. So we've talked about Armor, we've talked about Avast, and there's a lot of good ones, Norton. But just make sure you got protection in place. Make sure your firewall's on at a bare minimum. Whenever they send out a Mac, it never has the firewall on by default. So that's like the very first thing you want to do. Firewall basically prevents people from any sort of intrusion outside of your home network. So you want to make sure at a bare minimum that's on.
Do I have that, Mike?
Oh yeah. Anytime I connect to any computer, that's the first thing I do is I check to make sure the firewall's on.
Okay, please.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, I'll tell you, at my job, they every once in a while they'll send out an email, a phishing email, and so to kind of watch for some that come up, and they'll just have like one word spelled wrong or something like that, or something that'll come up, and I'm reading the like the subject line, and I'll think that doesn't sound right, and if you do click on something, it's like, oh, you failed, and
never click on anything that you don't trust. And the easiest way for any spam email, right click on the sender, look at the email address, because if you right click on it and if it says it's coming from PayPal, but if you right click on it and it says some weird random address, that's not a real email.
Oh, I'm glad you'll have to tell us that every time, in case. Just got to kind of get, Well, no, I'm just saying in case
I'll
somebody.
make a little checklist and just pop up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we ought to get to put on our Instagram and send that out with our stuff each month. Here's the tips of the week from Mike because no, it's just little things like that, and there's so much you have to be watching for. It's tips like that that really are great, you know.
You
I
know,
mean, I try and read the lines.
while we're talking about this, Mike, I'm finding that I have more accounts than I have ever wanted.
There's
Gianni
always
V.
one.
Russo, all these names under my name.
Yeah,
And I got 7,000 follows on this one, 75,000. My real one is the real Gianni Russo.
Yeah.
How do I put everything in that and get rid of all these other phony things?
We need to find out basically the easiest way is to use the forgot password and put in the username and see where that email goes. If you
yeah.
don't receive the email, it's not your account.
No, again,
Well,
you'll have to do that when you have
Well,
time.
yeah, we'll talk
I
about
was
that on
gonna
there.
say when you're saying we will have to, that means like you'll probably have.
I'll have to do
Oh
that.
no, he knows that. He knows what I mean by that.
Yeah.
It's
I have a niece that was here for the weekend and she was like I loved it when she was younger. She was with me all the time and she could just drive. We'd drive in the car and she'd be taking care of business, straightening out my credit cards, getting my money in my wallet nice. And, I'm like, oh, I wish she'd come back and live with me because keep me straightened out as I run like crazy. But Mike, I thank you for all of these good tips because I do listen to you. I may not remember everything exactly, but I know I remember just enough of it to know I need to check with you the next time I see you so we
Well,
can.
if you ever forget, you can always check out our podcasts on YouTube and Red Circle and Apple and Amazon, and I can go on and on.
That's right. Well,
All our shows are archived, or the Hollywood Godfather or HollywoodGodfatherPodcast.com. Our whole
that's
archive.
right.
Just pull it up.
Exactly.
That's right.
Mike Austin, and you'll hear him say it again.
And you can spread it. And I
You
think a lot
know,
of it's transcribed too, so you can search.
yeah, I was just thinking that as you were naming off all these different companies, Avast, Armor, Norton, I'm like, do you hear that, you guys? They should start sponsoring our monthly show.
That's why I say it.
That's right. Well, I'm telling you, it's such valuable information. And for people even like I said, my mom, she's 90, she's still trying to figure out this phone she's had for a year. And she's pretty savvy, she does pretty well. Um, but those little tiny, those little nuggets that you're giving us are fantastic as far as learning how to deal with this stuff and not being, she's so cute. We send her something and it says, grandma hearted your photo, and then it'll say grandma unhearted your photo, and then grandma heart. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Patricia? Just quit pushing the buttons. But little things like that, especially, I mean, I'm kind of in between. I'm not to where I can't figure it out, but I'm certainly not like my young niece that knows all the ins and outs. So I know how helpful you are to me, and I definitely every time we meet up with you, I go to work the next day. I'm like, okay, you guys got to get on and at least listen to this so you are safe. So your information is so valuable. I love it.
Well, a lot of that, what you just mentioned, the clicking a heart and going away, a lot of that is because of the mobile versus desktop. When you double click on something, people think you have to double click on the heart,
Okay.
or on like some of these, some of these reels, they say double tap to like, and if you double tap on Instagram, it likes it,
Yeah.
But if you double tap on Facebook, it doesn't. You have to actually manually go down and do it. So it depends on the platform. They all act a little different.
That's right. Well, it's funny because I was trying to tap on something because I was trying to fast forward it, and then a heart popped up, and I was like, well, I liked it anyway, so whatever. But it is funny all the different platforms that are out there. So,
Actually, let's touch on that for a second. So
yeah.
everything that you like on every social media platform, other people can see. I don't know if you. I learned that
Well, I'm not doing anything scandalous, Mike. I live in Utah.
You are not, because you're an angel.
No,
However,
no, thank you.
there are other people out there. If you see a funny reel or something that may be, mildly racist, and you click on it, you're like, oh, that's fun, whatever. Other people can see everything that you've liked. So be careful what you're liking out there.
I've thought of that too, where someone I know, their kid had passed something along. It was just something kind of funny. It was a picture of a kid, and then the music that came on with it, the mother caught wind of it, and she called him and said, "Get that off your phone right this minute," And he was saying, "Well, what?" And they said, if you're liking and if you're sharing something that comes on that's a little distasteful, it doesn't mean that you did it, but you certainly don't want to be sharing those things. And I do try and be careful. I'm sure I'm not as careful as I should be, especially when I'm pushing the button and a heart pops up without me even trying. But yeah, I know a lot of that stuff. And there's stuff that I've hit like before, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I want that associated with my name, even though I might have thought it was funny or maybe it was, you know,
Well,
that's
one of the things after Trump got elected for his second term, all of the major social platforms fired all their moderators. So all the people that used to do the verification checks and all that stuff, like if it's something like the Charlie Kirk murder and stuff like that,
yes.
like they were still slow to scrub that, but back, let's rewind about 5 years. Anything that anyone posted that had anything that was graphic or horrific, the Facebook or whoever moderators would go and be like, they'd put warnings on all the stuff. Have you noticed all those warnings are gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have no moderation on our social platforms anymore because it infringes on our First Amendment.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So our free speech has now trumped the moderators, pun intended. And now, basically every platform is basically like, it's up to you. You make your own judgment. We're out of this, and don't come to us. They've now updated all their policies saying we're not responsible for user provided content. We're not going to filter anything, but it's up to you. If you share it or you do anything, it's on you. So they're now wiping their hands of any responsibility. And, but then you're going to be seeing some crazy stuff, like stuff, live feeds from the war, or stuff happening overseas. It's like, if you get on the wrong channel, you're going to see some stuff you can't unsee.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I clicked on something and at first it was something that I wanted to see. And then I went through there and I was like, how on earth did I get on this? And it was just showing some horses and stuff, but it was not pleasant. And I was so surprised. I thought that isn't what I started out looking at all,
Everything you look at updates your algorithm.
Yeah.
So the second you start going down that rabbit hole, like I used to never get any right-wing content, but my mom sends me stuff all the time. And of course I'm like, what's this craziness she's sending me? And of course it's like, hey, invectormetrin will cure all your ails. I'm like, sure, well. And then now I'm getting all this right-wing content. I'm just like, really? Okay. So it's like, you gotta use your best judgment and basically, it's common sense is really at the end of the day.
Right.
That's all you got to do.
Sure. So let me ask you this, if it's something that's possible. So you get, say you click on, like the other day, I looked up something about a seat cover for a car. So you know what I'm getting on my advertising. Is it? Yeah. Is there a way to flush out your algorithm other than just, oh shit. Okay.
No. No, I recently went bed shopping. Biggest mistake of my life because I'm still seeing ads for Nectar and all these other things, and I went with the Tempur-Pedic. It's amazing. But it was anytime you look at anything, those advertisers, it's all keyed into their algorithm. That's how Facebook makes their money. Yeah. So and Instagram owns Facebook and they own WhatsApp. So everything, they own those three major ecosystems. So the second you look at one, it's gonna filter through all of the other ones. And Google, same way. They're all based on advertising. So the second you search up something, you're now inundated with that. Any website you go to that uses Google AdSense, you're going to see what you search for. You're locked into the system. Only way to get away from that is to use like DuckDuckGo, which doesn't have a tracking system in it.
Well, what is DuckDuckGo? Is
it's
that
a different web browser?
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, a different search engine.
Okay. Yeah, so it was funny. I thought, well, okay, and the funny thing is if you buy something, okay, so it inundates me with car seat covers for a while. Okay, I'm like, okay, I got
typically 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. I'm like, now I want to look at something else. How do you get that to go away? And, and I don't, the thing is, it's funny because I was looking and my friend was showing me something on his Facebook, and a golf shirt came up, which was hilarious. And I'll tell you what it was, because my sister that passed away, her favorite thing to do was to flip you off, right? That was just her trademark. And she was so cute. But everyone's got pictures of, she'd be sneaking it in a picture and always flipping you off, right? So this shirt came up with that on it, and I almost clicked on it. He was like, "No, do not click on that." You know.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Hand signals in pictures.
Oh.
Those pictures, people do the peace sign. Okay? Don't do that anymore, because they just revealed you can now get someone's fingerprints by showing the peace sign. And they can take your fingerprints, and that from any photo you have on any of your feeds, if you have the peace sign and you're showing your fingerprints, they're going to basically be able to take that, scan it with AI, they can grab it, and now your fingerprints are now in a database.
You've got to be kidding me.
That's now a thing.
Now you're back to scaring the crap out of me. That is insane.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, but I have to.
Well, now you have to. Hello.
Exactly. And as much time as I'm like doing this and taking pictures, right? That's incredible. My screen's not that clean.
Just like the handshake after COVID, the peace sign is now going to be gone
It's out.
You know, I always do the welcoming, like extending your arm, you know, just be like, hey, you know, how you doing? And be greeting and welcoming, but no more peace sign. That's now done.
Well, yeah, because you're putting your hand out like that.
Yeah, get your fingers down.
And they got it.
For trans down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to sit
That's why
on
I'm doing my fingernails. That's, you know, yeah.
I tell you, it's amazing. We were talking about it earlier with another guest with the AI and how it's invading our business. And it's not just, it's not one dimensional. It's so far spread now. You have to watch anything you're doing. Anything. Yeah. I don't care what it is.
Well, the latest scam is they're able to, any videos or audio of your kids that are on your social media, they can sample that. And then, like I said, all our information is all public. So if they have all your information and they have your social medias as well, they can fabricate a call from your child calling your parent, basically saying, help me, I'm in trouble, send me money. Or, like the latest one I heard was, start making a secret passcode with your kids to make sure if someone else pretends like they're your parent and something just doesn't sound right, make sure you have like a secret code word for your family.
Right.
If you start getting these random calls that say, hey mom, I need you to send me $500 so I can pay for these college books,
Right.
And then she talks to her kid and be like, hey, did you get that money? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So that's the next big thing is they're doing fake phone calls, or they're doing kidnapping requests. They're basically saying, we have your daughter, and then you have the sound of your daughter. It sounds just like her because it's sampled from her voice.
Right.
So any of your children, get them off social media. Take their photos down, take their videos down, or put them under protection.
I'm going to put them all up so they take my kids.
Yanni. So you said unless you protect them. How do you protect them?
All your social accounts are on private and only friend people you know.
Friends. Okay.
That way, that takes them off the search engines and it takes them off of the people finders. Because with people finders, it searches all your information.
Oh yeah, I mean that's incredible. What you can find out. You put your address in, and it immediately, whether you want to know it or not, which I haven't done it here. I probably should, but all the sex offenders around you, I'm like, holy crap!
Oh, don't look at those lists because they're everywhere.
Well, they are everywhere. But it's amazing. You wouldn't dare leave your house.
Yeah. If you look at those maps, every neighborhood's littered with them.
Right.
And there's obviously I'm not going to defend sex offenders, but I have a friend who was basically took a piss at a playground, and he got registered as a sex offender because he was on a playground and they tried him as for that stuff. And it's like there was no kids around, and I'm sure he was in a bush, but they threw the book at him, and so now he's a sex offender.
Well, and that is so ridiculous.
And you can't get expunged.
Right. Well, it is beyond insane. Something so silly like that. Gianni, I was telling Gianni, well, it's a good thing because they talked about how they were always trying to prank people on The Godfather, right? And like Marlon Brando moved the whole cast. And I'm thinking nowadays you would be tarred and feathered. You know what I mean? It is,
It's a
and
different world we live in.
yeah, very sad.
Mike Austin, always.
Hey,
You run my life, man. You really got.
hey.
Without you, I would quit the business.
Oh, I don't know about that. You're too talented to quit.
Well,
Well, that's true.
You were doing stuff before we even knew each other. So, but
no, it's
I'm happy to be of service.
well, you're more than service. You run it.
So you guys mentioned that we had some questions from our audience.
Yep, she has them.
All right, let me
What do you
get
got
to
for me? Bring it on.
All right. All right. What is the number one tip you can give for senior citizens to stay to learn to talk? This is senior here to stay safe using their cell phones.
Huh.
Well,
Whoa.
not just senior citizens. I guess that would go for all of us, but
If someone asks you for money, don't give it to them. That's number
no
one.
money over it.
Yep. If someone, because that's the number one scam for senior citizens is the, gift card or, we want to log into your bank to check your stuff. Basically, IRS, your banks, they're not going to call you. They're typically going to send you mail or they'll send you an email or something like that. And again, to verify it, you call them directly. Don't call the number on the paper. You know your number to your bank. You call your bank directly. Just don't stop giving money out to people that, don't you don't know. That's
Yeah,
simple.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
You would
exactly.
think it's simple, but it's what I'm trying to remember the number. It was something in the billions, a $1 billion fraud industry of defrauding senior citizens out of their money and their
Oh
pension.
my God, yeah.
It's obnoxious. That's why they do it. And most of it's out of the country. So
Well, and
Right.
again, that's it. They realize they're not sophisticated enough. So it's only $30 or $40, but it's in multiples.
oh no, it's a lot more than that. I've heard stories of people sending $50,000, $100,000 to these people.
Whoa.
Yeah, and draining their bank accounts. You
Yeah.
know, also, unless you really know what you're doing, stay away from crypto because crypto makes you a target.
Oh, wow.
I would never go near crypto.
Because I've stayed away from it, and all my friends. I had a client like begging me, like, "Hey, you got to sign up for this." I went to the website he was talking about. It literally was like a pyramid scheme of what it was. I'm like, "Are you?" They're not even hiding it anymore. I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" Like, yeah, I'll look into it. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks.
Wow.
It's like,
That's
and here's another thing. So people find out that you have crypto, they'll come into your house at gunpoint and force you to give them your wallet keychain password, so they can drain your crypto account. So, and crypto, they're saying it's going to be the new world currency in the next 10, 20 years because the US dollar is just tanking. And right now, the world economy is based off the US dollar. We're no longer on the gold standard. And right now we're on the fluff standard. So it's like, okay, well, eventually it may go to a digital currency, but I'd say for now, don't jump on that bandwagon unless you know what you're doing.
It's so funny. I think it's hysterical, but most people don't have the nerve that I have. Somebody called me and told me they're coming over right now, and da 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 da. And I said, "Come over." As soon as they came, I put a 38 in his mouth and
no.
cocked it.
Nice.
I said, "Now, what do you want from me?" He shit his pants, literally in my apartment. I pushed him in the hallway and called the cops.
Gianni, you be careful.
No, but
All right.
I am careful, but they don't know what I'm old, but don't come in this
Not
house.
dumb. Yeah.
You'll leave it like Swiss cheese. There'll be so many holes through it.
Oh yeah, no, well, you're one of the more well informed, and you're also Second Amendment proud. So
Yeah.
that's a non-concern. Obviously, we all should be taking advantage of our Second Amendment just for home protection.
Yeah.
That's at a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Right.
You never know. There's always going to be the crazy stuff out there. It's the same reason I fly an American flag outside my house. Some people, and I've never had a problem. So people,
Right.
when someone wants to come and rob me, they're like, gonna second guess this one because
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a surprise, and his name's Mr. Boom Boom.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny because I went target shooting and I'm like, I'm pretty damn good at this. And so I had the target with some real great shots through it. And someone said, well, what you ought to do is just put that where it can be seen that said, nothing in here worth dying for, you know? And but I was like, hey, that's beginner's luck. That's one thing I'm like, hey, I got a little talent when it comes to shooting that. That's kind of fun.
I like the sign that says, forget the dog, beware of owner, and it
Oh,
shows
yeah.
the target with a bunch of holes in it.
I'll tell you a funny story. When my kids were little, my daughter was in high school and I was dating a guy and I said, I want a gun. I said, I want a pistol. In fact, I want a pistol. I want two pistols and the holsters, like Annie
Annie
Oakley.
Oakley.
Right?
And he's like, all right, I'll get you a gun. And my daughter was like, no, don't get her a gun. My friends are afraid of her enough as it is. I said, as it should be.
You want a good reaction? Take a shotgun to a shooting range.
Oh,
Hello.
yeah.
Oh,
Good buddy.
every time, the second you just fire the first shot, everyone in the whole range just goes, huh?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you make friends with everybody because they want to shoot because no one brings a shotgun to
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
things.
Oh, and you don't have to aim. I have lasers on my guns.
Oh, I got lasers on mine. I have a full tactical setup on
Yeah,
mine.
so when you drop that red dot on their head, they know you got them.
Yeah, you got the red dot, and mine also has a strobe. And then I have extra chambers on the top. So
Yeah.
and it holds it's 12 plus 1. So it's you just keep going.
That's
Oh,
wild.
my gosh. Let me tell you a funny story. And I live in a very quiet, you'd never think you'd see this in our neighborhood, but I had a neighbor that had a grandson they were looking for, I'll just say. And I looked out my back door one time and I could see a guy. I'm like, how about a little warning, dum-dums, standing in the back corner of my backyard. And then I could see with my video cameras around the house, I'm like, oh, we're surrounded. But it was the house next door. And all of a sudden, as I'm looking out my back window, I see this red dot on his chest. And I was like, dude, you're going to die. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, he's got a heated jacket on. That was my first thought. I was like, oh shit, they're going to shoot him as I'm standing here watching him. But yeah, I was like, oh, because I got one of those too. But it was so funny. I was just like panicked, but no, it was
I love
hilarious.
how comfortable Jeannie is on this episode. We're gonna have to label this one as explicit.
Oh, sorry. You're just going to have to beat me out. As a cowgirl, as a cowgirl, you met me. I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm sure our audience won't mind.
Well, I don't swear much, but when I talk to you, I told my friend, I'm like, I swore a lot of times on the podcast yesterday because he was scaring the crap out of me.
Well, I think the word shit is actually more allowed with the FCC now, at least on cable broadcasts.
Yeah.
And I've heard it more on radio as well. So that they've kind of been more lenient on that. Plus, South Park had an episode where they counted how many times they said it. It was absolutely hilarious. So yeah, as long as we're not dropping F-bombs or anything,
No, I save those for after I get off. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So how safe are money apps like Zelle and things like that you can do through your banks? Are those should people be, oh, you're scaring me.
They're as safe as long as you know that you're sending to the right person. Again, back on the same subject.
Okay.
Our banks banks and credit cards give us protections. So if something happens, the bank usually has your back. I think, Zelle is a little more on the iffy side because it takes directly from your bank. Anything that connects to your bank, obviously you don't want to give out your checking information. It's going to be hard for someone to pull money out. Again, your bank will have your back if something happens. But, like I've said on our first episode, try to always use actual credit cards, not your debit card.
Right.
Have that linked or use PayPal if at all possible, because PayPal is an extra layer of protection.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, this is something I did, and I love it's Small Town Murder. These two comedians, they're fantastic. They have the funniest stuff. Probably not for everyone. Well, if you can handle Gianni's stories, you can handle these guys' stories because they're pretty fun. But you can pay through Patreon, right? $5 a month. I don't know what happened. I I click on the Patreon side and I can never get in. So I called them and I said, listen, you're taking my $5 every month, but I can't get on it on Patreon. And you know where they do this, where you can hide your own email address? And they put, okay, well, that's fine. I have no idea what it is. So I can't stop the payment because I can't tell them what my hidden email is. So I'm like, how the heck do you get out of something
You
like
can
that?
call your bank and the bank will block the payments.
Okay. Well, and
Also, you can download Rocket Money, and Rocket Money will help you see what what you're spending, what your subscriptions are, and you can cancel right from the app.
and you know what? That Rocket Money, I'll tell you what, I'm a little afraid because they're going to be like, you're an idiot, but so many, I wouldn't be the only one. Clearly, these people are doing business because Rocket Money is finding things that probably five of every 10 people.
There's all kinds of stuff. I found out I had multiple DoorDash accounts and multiple Netflix accounts and stuff like that, and it took care of it for me. It's just like stuff happens. We get
Well worth it.
different emails.
Yeah, I have thought of that. Well, and with Rocket Money, I mean, they can dig in and find, and like you said, you just click a button and it cancels the subscriptions.
Yep. One click cancel.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So
I know nothing about what you two are talking about.
There's an app that allows you to you hook it up to your bank. It'll scan your all your transactions and will basically and it'll tell you like what subscriptions you're paying for. So you can say, oh, I got a subscription to Netflix, I got a subscription to this, and then if you see something you don't recognize, you're like, well, let's just get rid of that, and it lets you cancel it right from the app, so you don't have to go hunt down your logins or anything. It'll just send
But people actually subscribe things online
all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, Gianni, something like, I don't know if you've got it, like Netflix. And my friend was paying for 2 Disney Plus accounts. I was like, why are you paying it? He's like, yeah, I just noticed that. And I go, well, cancel it, But there's so many. I'm thinking, oh, heck, I might have, I keep thinking, who knows? Well, you know what? One of them was that I found out I had, and I had no idea. That's how dumb I am. What's the Sirius radio? You get a new car, you get Sirius radio. Fine. So all of a sudden I saw one day it charged me like $150. And I was like, what the heck? $150 every 6 months. I didn't catch it the first $150. It was the second $150. I said, turn that crap off right this minute. This was a couple of years ago, but I'm like, one of those can slip past if you're not studying your bill. But yeah, I like that idea. All right.
Yeah. Even in my industry, I have clients where we've moved their hosting services over and they forget to cancel their old hosting from GoDaddy or whatnot. And it just keeps paying for it, or Squarespace. And it's like, well, we've already moved all your stuff over, and I canceled it, and if for some reason there was a server error, the cancellation didn't go through and they were still getting charged. Well, luckily, most of these companies, they'll see that there's no traffic and then they'll credit you or they'll give you a refund. But a lot of companies will be like, sorry, you should have told us early. Right. And from the point of view calling is when they'll cancel it moving forward.
Right. Well, I got lucky one time on Amazon. My little nephew just got on my account and just was ordering one video after another. And luckily I called him and I just said, hey, Happy Fingers there. And they were luckily at one of those nice enough. They said, well, we can see that he didn't watch any of those. So they credited it back, but not everyone's that nice. And if you're dumb enough to not pay attention, they'll take your money.
Well, let me mention this. There's a website out there that does AI, pretty much anything you want to build, develop, videos, photos, programs, apps. It's called Supercool. It's owned by this other company. See if I can remember the name of it. Basically, supercool.com. It's a cool website. I went on there, tested an app, and as I'm going through, apparently there was a checkbox or a switch that I forgot to uncheck. So as I'm going, it was automatically billing me $20 every time it needed it, but it wasn't sending me any notification. It wasn't until I went to my bank and I saw 20 different charges for $20. I ended up spending like over $500 on this app that I was just having fun with and testing their system out. And I'm like, what the hell? So be careful what you're using out there. And it's also Supercool sucks because you can't download your program after you build it. So now it's just
I
stuck.
was just going to say, that doesn't sound super cool. It sounds
It was
super sweet.
definitely not super cool. I won't use their site again.
Crossing them off my list of cool things that you've
Oh,
told
it's
me.
Famous AI is the parent company.
The what?
Parent company is super cool is Famous AI. Famous AI, you can actually download your projects, just like Lovable and Bolt and all the other big ones. But super cool. Oh no, you want your project that you paid for? Sorry.
Pay more money? Could you even buy
No.
it if you wanted to?
No.
Oh,
It's stuck on their platform. You have to pay for their hosting, and you have to use their domain registrar. Like everything's a closed system. And they're like, oh, it's in our development roadmap. We'll let you know in like a few years when we decide to put that in.
Oh
sounds
my
like
God.
AI platform, just tell it you want to be able to download. It literally takes 2 seconds. So
Mike. Oh, you're singing my song. We've got a new program at work, and it is. I want to beat my head against the wall every day when I have to use it. And then I'm just cussing under my breath. I'm like, speaking of noise, if you're on a conference call and it's transcribing, don't just say anything under your breath, because even if you don't hear it online, I told my boss, I said to her, we need to remember to turn off transcription when we're doing a meeting because somebody said something. And she's like, oh God. And it was on the transcription. I laughed so hard, but yeah, it's crazy. You got to just be careful.
Yeah, I was using this AI program called Suno, amazing platform where you can do music. And I took my old band songs and put them into Suno, and it recreated them to make them more updated, and it sounded amazing. A lot of the stuff that we had, there were a bunch of whisper tracks, and I thought it would just ignore those. Oh no, it picked them up.
No.
Because it separates the music. It pulls out the voice, all the stuff, and then it transcribes just the voice layer. So yeah, it was pretty hilarious what it can do. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got to make sure if you're in a meeting that you click mute first. I've learned that a long time ago. Mute is the first thing. I do have it set up at work that when I come on, it's automatically on mute. That's why
I like these commercials like For Imprint that basically, they talk, shit under the breath, and all of a sudden they're like, are you sure? Are you for certain? Are you for imprint certain? It's like, so you see them close their laptop.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
I love it. All right, I've got another question here. How safe are the digital cards from the digital credit card? This is what the deal was. I'd gone to the store the other day, and I had left my card that I wanted to use home, and I went to pull out a card, and I realized I hadn't activated it yet. So I just jumped on the app, and I sent, it says the option digital card. So to keep
from your device, to use your device as a card?
Well, not Apple Pay, but if you can just use, and I'm sure you could have used it like that, but I just took the number off the digital card that it brought up for me and typed it into the computer at the store.
Okay.
And are those okay, or Apple Pay?
It's the same risk as a normal credit card. If there's a balance available and it gets leaked, that money's gone. But if it's like a prepaid card, what are you going to lose? A couple $100?
Yeah. Oh no, I love the prepaid cards. I've done that for a lot of years. And since I've talked to you, you always say tap, don't insert, right?
He's learning.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, having you on, we're hearing it. I talk to people on the street. It's really an asset, and which I know you're an asset to me. But sharing you now, even once a month that we're doing this, I think it's a tremendous asset for us to have you, because we're getting more followers.
We have to be secure in this new digital age, And again, if you ever have to use your credit card, add the card to your phone and just use Apple Pay or Google Pay, because that's going to give you another layer of protection. It's going to obscure your information. It's going to go through a digital system. It's not going to give the person your actual credit card. So
that's a safe way to do it.
The safest way to buy anything online is through any sort of digital platform. Either Apple Pay, PayPal, Venmo, not so much, but I would say try to stick to the stuff that your carrier is providing, because they've put a lot of work into that and to make sure that it's secure, because they don't want to get burned by their devices. Yeah. So I've never had an issue with Apple Pay. anything I've ever used Apple Pay on, it's never come back to bite me in the ass.
All right.
Oh, good. Well, that's good to know because I I said to my bank one time because I don't know because I'm a spaz and I'm always on the run, and I said to him, I know one of these days, and I'm surprised it hasn't come yet. When I come in and say, hey, I lost my debit card, and they're just gonna go, no, you can't have another one. Clearly, you
They're,
can't be held. You are not responsible. You're all done.
yeah, they're
So,
not your parents. They can't say that.
well, they should have. Well, but now if I put up not because I'm overspending because I'm a dum dum, and then I usually go home and it's in my other coat pocket. You know what I mean?
They have an obligation. It's your money. They're going to give you an option a way to spend it.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
they
but
want
it's
their fees regardless.
yeah, and that's what I thought. I'm like, thank you for not just telling me, listen, you nut job, you don't get any more.
One thing I do like about the Apple ecosystem is, say I want to go jogging and I'm just running by a gas station. I need to buy something, but I don't have my wallet on me. I
Right.
have all my payment details on my watch.
I was going to ask you about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So at any given point, if I'm like out somewhere, I'm like, oh, I have no money. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I still have the way to buy stuff. That's been a lifesaver a couple times. So, and it's like you totally forget about it. I don't even think like, hey, I have the ability to buy stuff when I'm out if I lose my phone or if your phone gets stolen. Because if you're traveling and someone steals your phone, you're screwed.
Oh,
No.
But if you need to get home and you need to pay for an Uber, I don't know if you could actually, maybe you could do it, but you have to have cellular service on your phone activated through the carrier. That's the only way that's going to work. And that's just for, doing any sort of stuff. But for the payment stuff, I believe you can do it just, if you have your phone with you, it should all work.
yeah. I was just going to ask you about that because I just saw that on there and I thought, I've never thought to do that. Of course, I use it for texting, of course, when I'm in a meeting and I want to look down and think I'm going to miss out on something earth shattering. But I saw that and I thought that's pretty handy. You go somewhere, I take my little granddaughter with me. I've only got enough, it's so many hands, you know what I mean? I'm going to have one on her and one keeping track, but that's another great way if those are safe. So,
Well, plus the reason I like Apple Watch, I bought a couple for my parents because my mom had a fall.
oh yeah,
Fall in her driveway, and it has automatic emergency detection. So if something happens where she falls and my dad's out and something's not around, it'll automatically trigger emergency service alert. And
oh
it
yeah,
countdown. It says, I'm going to call emergency services. Either I'm going to call your
Don't
emergency tax or I'm going to call 911 for you unless you tell me to stop.
yep. That happened to me once, but I happened to be in the emergency room and I was in a bad way. And I was
He
in
fell in the emergency room and they were calling the room. I love
that's
it.
exactly what happened. I was in so much pain and my daughter-in-law was trying to help me and we had bumped my watch and they were trying to help me. And anyway, all of a sudden my watch is calling 911. She's like, 911, what's your emergency? And my daughter-in-law bends over and she's like, we're in the emergency room, false alarm. We're already here. Don't worry about it. And so, it's
only you these things happen to.
right. That was quite a couple years back. And so I got my friend had a stroke and I said to her, please, let's get you one of these, let's get you one of these in case something happens. If you,
Well, that's another thing. It has EKG detection and it can detect for strokes. Also, oh yeah. And if you hold down on the crown and you keep it held down, that'll also trigger the emergency system.
oh, see, Mike,
You can test it at home. Exactly. So
you're the best.
actually, it'll prompt you and it'll say, is this an emergency? And you can hit cancel. But if you press and hold on the crown for, I think it's like 5 seconds, it'll then prompt the emergency system.
Oh, wow.
By accident when I'm wearing my gloves when I'm drumming.
Oh, funny.
Well,
I've
thank you again for a very informative episode. He'll be on every month, so the cards and letters coming in and all your questions.
right.
And
Thank
thank
you, Mike.
My
Thank you.
pleasure as always. Love being with you guys.
All right,
Well,
please, yeah.
It's a blast and so informative. I mean, I learn something every time. And like you said, you were proud of me because I've been learning a couple things. So, and I love to pass it along. So thank you again.
Of course. My pleasure.
All
All
right.
right.
Good night, everybody. God bless you all. Until next week.
All right. Have a good night.
Roll the lights, hit the scene. A legend walks in stride. Gianni's got the stories from the coast to countryside. Jeannie's got the questions, sharp as Sinatra sway. Every Wednesday night we take you all the way. From the back streets of Tinseltown to the Trattoria's glow. Old Hollywood meets mafia tales, and you're about to know.